This is Mark Guerrero. Welcome to East L.A. Music Stories. My guest is Donnie Everhart, aka Doc, aka Slick, from the East L.A. group Sly, Slick, and Wicked, early 70s. How you doing, Donnie?
Hi, Mark. I'm doing fine.
Yeah, man. So you're from Oklahoma. You grew up there and you live there now. But at some point, you decided to go to L.A. And tell me what inspired that.
Well, the military. And when I got out, I had no desire to return to Oklahoma. So I vagabond for a few years and met people, new experiences, and ended up in the group.
Yeah, but what made you choose Los Angeles?
Just the curiosity, traveling.
So you didn't really go there to get into the music business?
I had no purpose whatsoever.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you discover you could sing?
Well, that started early back in Oklahoma. We had a high school group,
Okay.
no name.
Okay. And were you singing school stuff, or were you singing doo-wop stuff? And
It was basically doo wop. That
okay.
was the choice of music in those days.
So you knew you could sing. And so how did you wind up singing once you got to LA?
I'll give you the first story. I'm trying to write a book.
Okay.
This will be in the first verse. I
Okay.
was walking to a store to purchase a 40 ounce of beer, and I heard a keyboard playing. And, in the area I was at, which was Aliso Village, you didn't really want to disturb anyone.
No, you
Under
don't.
that. But my spirit had me knock on the door. Nice lady asked, "Who are you?" And you come on in. Wow. And Larry Lewis, who ended up being the keyboard player of the Sly Stick of the Wicked, was banging away. So in 30 seconds, I asked, could I join in? And he said, come on. That started it right there.
Wow. So you were living in Aliso Village, which is
Yes,
really, really kind of part of East LA. It's on this side of the LA River, on the east side.
right.
And at the time when you were there, what percentage was it mostly black? How many were Latinos
I'd
there?
say I'd say it was pretty close to 50-50,
Hmm.
black and Latino,
Hmm.
because I had many Latino friends as I did black. So yeah.
Yeah. And so that from that sort of grew into some kind of a group.
Yeah, we would do whopping a lot. I met a guy named Bill Maxwell who got encouraged by what we were doing and decided to create a testimonial type situation
Hmm.
and got us involved in it. He was at a place called All Nations Neighborhood Center on Soto in Michigan.
Yes.
So he wrote two government proposals with my input, and we got funded. We hired neighborhood kids who could play instruments, who could do anything to teach children every day. And this is how it launched. We had it for 2 years.
And was that what was called Project Sir that you were
Yes,
mentioning?
sir. Project
That's
SIRS.
SIR as in yes, sir.
Yeah, structured, informal, and relaxed atmosphere for learning. And that it was.
So what were you doing for them?
I was the assistant director. Gave me a new perspective on life, made me feel like I was somebody. And I met several musicians that are still living today there. And a great experience.
After you joined that organization, you wound up performing musically at that venue.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because I used to play there too at All Nations Hall in Soto. Yeah,
And somewhere in my mind, I know I remember you.
it could
Yeah,
be.
we went to L.A. College for a battle of the bands,
Yeah,
and I met some people there who liked what we did, and that got us started.
right. So we're at that point. Were you already Sly, Slick, and Wicked?
No,
Okay. So what were you called at that point?
uh, we started as Doc and the interns. After the song Sly Slick and Wicked came out around about 68, 69, I had met a Sunny Day, brought him into the group, and it fell right in place. And we were searching for a name at the time anyway. So that's what we named it, Sly Slick and Wicked.
And then you found out there was already a Sly, Slick, and Wicked in Cleveland, right?
We were first.
Oh, really?
Yes,
So, but how
sir.
did that go down once they became that? Was there any lawsuits going on?
They tried to sue at the Universal Theater. They came to serve us papers. So a big old court fight. They lost, but still, by internet being here today, they're still allowed to use their name. But the judge had told them they couldn't perform West.
West of the
Yeah,
Mississippi, or
well,
was
that's what it should stay.
yeah, right. So getting back to the East LA college gig, um, so you're playing there at an East LA College Battle of the Bands around 1970-ish, I think you said.
Yes, yes,
And somebody that we both worked with apparently, Lou Adler, the
yes,
legendary producer who had already produced the Mamas and the Papas and Cheech and Chong,
yes.
and also Carole King, um, was in the audience because he grew up in Boyle Heights, by the way. You probably know that.
Wow.
But my first solo single ever in 1971 was produced by Lou Adler. So, but he was in the audience and he wound up liking you and booking you at the Pomona Fairgrounds with Tower of Power, Cheech and Chong, and Malo, right?
Yes, sir.
And that was your first kind of big gig.
First big one. Yeah.
And who was backing you guys up? You were a three-person vocal group and you had a band backing you.
But yeah, our guys, the bad boys, that was Larry Nieto, Mike Miyamoto, and a guy that I got from Musicians Contact named John Wheaton.
Okay.
Nice little guitar player who's probably famous now because he was good. And that's the way we did it. We had six guys.
The other two lead vocalists besides you, what were their names?
Larry Lewis, I call him Lala, and Sunny Day.
Sunny Day, yeah.
Yeah.
So by the time you did that Pomona Fairgrounds, were you using the Slice Slick and Wicked name yet, or were you still
We did then.
okay by then?
Yeah, because we had incorporated Slash Lick and Wicked in '69.
So you wound up really being part of the East LA circuit. You did a lot of the venues I did, like the Little Union Hall and Montebello Ballroom and
Yes, sir.
all those places.
Went to Tijuana.
Tijuana?
Yes, sir. We went there to play.
You played in Tijuana.
Yes, sir.
And how did that go down?
Pretty good. I heard a lot of whistling, but still it was good. Yeah, Eddie Torres booked that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you started playing with a lot of the East LA bands. You'd be on the bill with the Midnighters and various
Oh,
other.
yes. Yeah. The Flirtations,
Mm-hmm.
Ursi, Arvisa.
Oh, Ursi, Arvisu,
Yeah,
yeah.
we did Montebello Rock Ballroom. Um, just everybody. I probably know the whole area.
So you did a run though at the famous Pasta House, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was what, early 70s?
Yes.
And that's
First
when
night.
you got to know and play a lot with Tierra.
Uh-huh. Were
Hmm.
they the Salas brothers then?
They were already Tierra, I think.
Yeah.
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 So tell me a little bit about those experiences. What was it like at the Pasta House? And is that the time when Willie Bobo was there too?
Yes. Yes.
So what was it
Well,
like?
Willie,
Hmm?
it was great. New experience for us. And actually, our first gig was for the City of Hope. It's a nice little organization. We didn't know anything that they wanted to hear. But my bass player was Larry Nieto. He's always had an ear for any kind of music.
Hmm.
And I told Earl, who was manager at the time, I said, what are we going to play for him? He says, do what you know. We didn't know anything. But Tex, my lead bass player, well, the only bass player, knew how to play the one da 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 da. We did that for about 2 hours.
It
That's
sounded like Hava Nagila. Is that what it is?
it. Yeah. The people went crazy.
I'm
We
sure
didn't
they
stop
did.
playing it. Keep it on. And the owner of the pasta house at the time, I can't remember his name now, or the manager, he booked us.
So the type of music you were doing mostly was, would you call it like R&B and doo-wop?
Yes. Very much. But once we got John Wheaton with us, we did a lot of rock.
Hmm.
And I decided, well, my spirit did, that was a good sign. I wanted to mix rock and roll with soul. Santana experience, basically.
Hmm.
And it worked. You know,
Hmm.
I wanted a guitar player, and then we cover the tunes. And that happened.
Nice.
Gave us a sound.
So, was it after that that you had a group called Baby Brother?
Yes, sir.
And somebody I know very well was in that group, Jimmy Seville.
Yes, sir.
Where'd you find him?
In all nations.
Oh, really? There goes back
And
to All
Bob, see,
Nations.
this is how all this stuff ties together. Jimmy worked for the program. He taught keyboards, and we became friends, and still are to this day.
Yeah, Jimmy wound up in the group Yaki in the early
Yeah.
70s, and in fact, I'm working with a project with him right now. We're doing a recording together.
Okay.
The late 80s, he worked with me on an EP I did called On the Boulevard. So we have
Okay.
our own history. Yeah.
Yaki was playing behind the gold dust in a bowling alley there. I sneaked over with band cards and stole some of the crowd.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's
Yeah.
showbiz. That's showbiz, man.
Yes, sir.
So, Baby Brother, you had Jimmy Seville. You had somebody else, two other people that I know,
Wow.
Billy Mondragon.
Yes.
And was he playing an instrument also and singing?
Really played rhythm guitar
Okay.
and
Now,
sang with
Willie
us.
Mondragon had two sons that became great singers, Eric and Billy Mondragon. And they
Sir.
have a group called Down with Three right now that's very successful. And Billy sang with Tieta for quite a while in the early
Uh-huh.
2000s. So, yeah, it's kind of a small world here, right? We're talking East LA.
Music.
And another guy in your group, Baby Brother, that I knew was Nick Urrutia.
Yes,
Be
sir.
careful pronouncing that name.
You are.
Uh, but yeah, he was a drummer, and I think he went to junior high with me. Pretty sure
Wow.
at Griffith. And
Okay.
yeah, so that's three of your band members that I knew, and the other one is Jerry Ruiz, who's in the
Yes.
room with you right now,
Yes, sir.
and he's the one that contacted me about you.
Yes, sir.
Uh, is he still there in the room?
Yeah, he's
Have him
cooking.
say hello to the camera.
Jerry, come say hello to the camera. He's not too bashful, but he'll make
Come on,
it.
Jerry.
Here he is.
Mr. Mark
Hey,
Guerrero.
how you doing, man?
How you doing,
So
buddy?
what gave you the idea to call me about because you kind of wanted him to be on the show, right?
Yes, I did. And the reason I called you was I had been looking at your videos, and I really respect what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I thought Mr. Everhart over here, Mr. Doc, would be an asset.
Yeah.
Because I played in East L.A. and I did gigs like CYO,
Oh yeah.
and but you know what? This is
You
Doc's time.
certainly. Yeah, man. But cool, man. Thanks for the hookup. And
Hey, good to see you now.
okay, man. Talk to you
All right,
later.
buddy.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, man. So yeah, so he was in your band and he played drums too, right? He followed Nick into the group,
Yes. Yes, he did.
and you played Mardi Gras, the Mardi Gras.
Yes. Yes.
That was in downtown LA, right? And across the street from
Right.
MacArthur Park.
Yeah. Trying to achieve more uh, uh, fan support from all over Los Angeles. And the only place we didn't really play it was at Chitlin Circuit. So I couldn't understand that. But we were doing different music. So,
You mentioned to me earlier that off camera that you played at the King's Table. That was another place in Pico Rivera
yes.
with Baby
Yes.
Brother.
With Baby Brother. And actually, Slapstick, we could play there too. We
Hmm.
played there first. And, maybe 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
And went back to the Gold Dust.
Okay. Well, you also played at the Little Union with Brenton Wood.
Backed him up. Yeah. And a DJ named Godfrey called
Yes.
and asked, could we come and back him up? I said, we don't know any of his songs. So quite naturally, my bass player kicked in.
Did you get
And
a
we,
rehearsal with him, or you just learned the songs on your
we
own?
just jumped on stage in beach wear, no shoes. And man, it was fun. It was a blast.
Yeah, Godfrey was a DJ, a local DJ, and he was actually from Scotland, but he talked like Wolfman Jack, you know?
How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
a cool DJ.
Yes, he was.
Um, so then you made a record called Confessin' a Feeling. Tell me
Hmm.
about the song. It had been recorded before by somebody else, right?
Yeah, Tony Owens had done it.
Yeah. It was kind of an obscure song. and you did your own arrangement to it.
Yes, sir. There's a
And
lot more to it, but we had to do what we could do within 3 minutes or so, and that was it.
and it did well, right? I mean, it's done very well. It's still around.
It hit, yeah, it did well. It established a sound for us, which was really great.
It was very doo-wop, that song, right?
Yes,
And it was on Bad Boy Records.
yeah, our release was. Hmm.
And I love the title of the B-side. I love it. It's called Love Gonna Pack Up and Walk Out.
Suitcase and all. Yes, sir.
I like it. I like it. I got to check that one out. Um, and then at some point, you left the group and they went on and did another record called Tonight's the Night. But what prompted you to leave the group?
Well, if you understand music like I do, Mark, and if you understand love,
Yeah.
yep. So I did the B side.
You went for the love?
I left because of the love. The
Okay.
love was leaving, so I didn't want it to leave me.
Now, was that the love, was that involved with a relationship?
Uh, Being with a group is like being married.
Oh, yeah. And then sometimes you got to have a divorce.
Sometimes you got to do it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I tried separating. It worked for a while, and I tried to redo it, and there was no reconciliation. So on
Yeah.
my part.
So at that point, did you kind of get out of music or what did you do?
Well, I hung around a lot, and me and the band were really close. Me and Larry were really close, and I was trying. Me and Jimmy were close, and I was with a guy named Mike Salcedo.
Hmm.
They called him Shane. God bless him now. But anyway, he and I decided to keep pursuing and hooking up, and we did. Each one of us brought a fellow musician with us. We ended with six guys as well. And this is how Jimmy and Nick and Willie and all of us got together. So it was good. Yeah, we packed the pasta, packed it. King's Table.
So tell me, believe it or not, I wasn't quite around in the early 80s in that scene. So I never went to the Pasta House during its heyday, but I heard a lot of stuff and it was a happening place and you had Willie Bobo, Tierra, all kinds of great
Oh
groups playing
yeah.
there, a great social scene. Did you have a blast at that time? Was that kind of one of the
Oh,
highlights of that period?
because it was launching me. I think we probably were the first. I know we're the first soul group ever there, but as far as the music genre, we probably were because it was noted as a Latin jazz club,
Hmm.
rock and roll there. So my experience was like new inventing places. It was great. Spaghetti House became a rock house.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned that before this interview started, and I laughed because you were playing at the Pasta House, and there was a
Yes.
rival club called the Spaghetti House, and they
Yes.
they came over and hijacked you, right?
Yes, they did. They didn't have music there. But he saw the crowd at the pasta house and dollar signs hit him in the face.
And he
And he,
offered you enough of the good stuff.
yes, sir. And
And
off
how
with
long did you play over there?
at the Gold Dust, I had
Was the
three.
Gold Dust the Spaghetti House, or is that different?
Yes, that's what he ended up being.
It wound up being the Gold Dust.
Yes, sir.
And how long did you play there? Quite a while.
Oh yeah, 3 years.
And at that point, there was no interest in going back to the Pasta House, or he may not have wanted you back because you left him.
Well, Bobby, who was one of the workers there, ended up at another club. Oh, I can't even think of the name of it now. But he asked us to come with him. But
Mhm.
by this time, I was out of Slasic and Wicked, and
Mhm.
I performed there maybe one or two times.
Okay. Tell me some of your memories of like Tierra. Would you stand there and watch them play and feel
Well,
that,
when I first met them, they were the Salas brothers,
right?
and like I say, when I started hijacking their crowd, I watched them for a while, and Jimmy was playing with them.
Hmm.
Um, well, Yaki was there, and it was all, what I'm saying, it was all coming together. But yeah, I love Steve for sure. To show you another experience is Rudy's son played football with my son at Lincoln High School.
Was that David?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
small,
Yeah,
small
yeah.
world.
And what about Willie Bobo? Did you see him perform there quite a bit and get to know him?
Yeah, I've seen Willie, And I ended up, he was living on the hill from me because I was in Lincoln Heights by now. And he was up on, I guess, Washington Heights. I think that's the name of it.
Mhm.
But I ended up going over to his house. Didn't stay too long, though, because I didn't want to get too personal.
Right, right. But his music was pretty kick-ass right then with salsa.
Yeah. Yeah. And we did, was it Watermelon Man?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So did that. Did that really pretty good.
nice. So at what point did you just decide, well, I'm gonna just can it for a while, and when did you go back to Oklahoma?
I left Oklahoma in 91 to Oklahoma.
To
And
Oklahoma.
I wasn't burned out, but through your life, you get kids,
Yes,
and quite naturally, you're looking out for your children.
right.
And I decided I didn't want my boys growing up in the life that I knew.
The uncertainty of the music business.
Yeah, because like I say, when you marry like that, you cannot you got the dream, but you can't make it happen unless you get that support.
Yeah,
So, and.
yeah. So so what city in Oklahoma was it?
Town called El Reno.
Hmm.
It's a famous little town. The Chisholm Trail ran through there. President Obama came through there because they got a federal prison there, and he visited that prison, and it's close to guys like Garth Brooks and a lot of country singers there. They wouldn't understand our music at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I first got there, I went to a station that played R&B music
Oh,
and tried to get them to go what I had learned from East L.A.
right.
And he wasn't hearing it. So
So that's mostly they love country music there.
yeah,
And you grew up in that small town also?
yes, I did.
And is that where you live now?
I moved back there.
Is it a
Moved
lot
home.
bigger now, or is it still pretty intimate?
It's the same.
So, which is cool, right? It must be very peaceful and a nice place to live.
Well, yeah, but quite naturally, society changes all across the world, and you still can see glimpses of what you left.
Yeah,
People just have to imitate what they see.
right.
But I'm fine.
You're talking about the prejudice and stuff like that?
That's already embedded.
Oh, God.
Man, you can't. It's like a tattoo that won't come off.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I was just in Tulsa last summer. I went to go
Yes,
to the Bob Dylan Museum and the Woody Guthrie Museum and Leon Russell's church studio, and it was cool town and stuff. But I also visited Black Wall Street.
yes,
I learned about that history, and it's probably the most horrific thing that ever happened in terms of race in this country and
yeah.
bigotry and so I suspect, like I was telling my friend when we were there, it seems like a really cool hip town, but underneath, I'm sure a lot of that stuff's still there. It's just more subtle.
Oh, sure, sure, sure. I was telling Jerry, because once you become a man, you recognize quick and you learn how to deal with it as you go along.
Yep, yep,
I think my good spirit that I've developed in that kind of person.
right. And Chicanos went through the same thing whenever we'd get out of
Oh,
East L.A. and go to the South or other
yes, sir.
white areas, we weren't treated so well.
At all, you
Yeah.
know. And I went to school when I was a kid. We had five Chicano families there, and you never felt 1 ounce of bad blood. Same neighborhood, and just there. And they were embedded in my memory.
A nice
But
brotherhood.
oh yes, it was terrific. I ate my first tamale there.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that. Now, a guy coming from Oklahoma, African American, coming into East LA, how did you assimilate the culture and fit in? And I'm sure you got into Mexican food and just the culture in general. And how was that for you?
Hey, I'm a spirit. I live a spirit life. I'm not dictated to by no means. I don't believe in too much. I have to know it. And my spirit speaks for itself. Jerry is like my brother. We've never had a racial conversation. And I perform the same way. There's no difference. Looking at you right now, there's no difference.
Did you take to Chicano culture and embrace it?
Oh, yes. I took it so deep now. La cosa es que yo lo siento, ¿me entiendes?
Órale.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So, but I love it.
Hmm.
Like I said, I don't separate it. I just can't. I've gone to Mexico. I've been to the pyramids there. Really took an uplifting spiritually. I went to Hidalgo, and man, what I learned there.
In Mexico?
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
So you just
And,
traveled around in Mexico a little bit?
oh, I loved it. I met Jose, who a
Hmm.
guy I just loved to death. And in fact, I was going to perform down there, but my band didn't speak Spanish, and they didn't want to go, so we had to end that. We're going to place above Mexico City. Oh yeah, yeah. Let me get the name out. Cuernavaca.
Well, that's a great town, man.
Yes, great.
Yeah.
So they got a lot of aesthetics down there now, but just couldn't get that off. I wanted to do it.
Very cool, man. And how about in your little town? Are there any decent Mexican restaurants?
El Tepeyac, not really. It's called El Charro,
It's okay.
and they're in about 3 or 4 towns there. I have a niece who came to Oklahoma after we moved, and she's living in a town called Cherokee, and she opened up her uh, Latino restaurant, and she's done well.
That's nice. So you don't have to depend on Taco Bell.
No, oh no, oh baby.
In a pinch, you know. Okay. Yeah. So, what about your time in the military? What branch were you in?
I was in the U.S. Navy trying to escape the wrath of Oklahoma and
Hmm.
America
Yeah,
and walk smack dab in the middle. It wasn't a good experience.
it wasn't. Yeah,
No,
in what sense?
racially,
Racially. Yeah, I've heard
yeah,
that.
yep,
And
yep.
this was during the Vietnam War too, wasn't it?
I joined before and was set to go, and in a point, I'm kind of glad I didn't. The guys who enlisted with me are not living today. They shipped out, and Agent Orange and whatever else got them.
Were you in for the whole 4 years?
No, I couldn't. That was another divorce.
You got another divorce.
We decided to part ways.
How long were you in?
About 2 years.
Okay. And that's when you
So
wound up in L.A.
yes, that's why I vagabond. I
Yeah.
vagabond for a couple years up and down the coast, hitchhiking and just enjoying myself.
Hmm.
I think I was the first black hippie. I mean, you should have saw me, man. I had moccasins on and always the peace sign, brother.
And how was your hair? Was it a little bit of an afro or
Had
what?
a lot of hair,
All right.
a lot
That's
of no
it.
afros at that, but it was processed.
I got it. Oh, I got to
Yeah,
see.
you put that hot stuff and just burn it all today. Hey, this is it today.
I remember those processes. Yeah. I remember seeing Billy Preston when he had his hair
Yep,
processed, but he had
yep.
it into kind of a beetle cut, in the early
Yeah, he
60s.
did. He had no
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met Billy in '62. Yeah.
Wow.
So 'cause Little Richard was on the scene at a party I went to, and the whole crowd was there. Man, that was
Wow.
funny. Yeah. And Sly Stone was in town. And that was a big thrill for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, learning experience too, because I saw so much and I had a head start on trying to climb that ladder.
Did you have
Of,
any gigs in Hollywood in particular?
say it again now. In Hollywood?
Did you play in Hollywood at all?
Did I ever? Let me see. Recorded there for sure. When we were trying to do gigs, this is a funny story here. We take an upright piano. It was just us three, Larry, Sonny, and myself. And we were always going to do a free show, get involved and let people hear us sing. We take this big upright piano and we played at a place called Ye Little Club.
Oh, that was a big time thing. That was,
Hey, what?
I mean, Trini Lopez used to play there. Yeah, that's where
Yeah, I
they
did. Yeah,
discovered him, and he went to the PJs from there. And
yes, sir.
that was a major venue. So you played there
Yeah,
back in the 60s, huh?
yep. And we walked in there and did it. I knew Bill Gazzari.
Oh, I played Gazzarri's. Did you play Gazzarri's?
I didn't play there, but I worked there.
Okay.
And I met Red Fox. He had a club down the street.
Oh, yeah, he was
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So my experiences were just coming to me like extra order pancakes, yeah, more.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
That's
Learning,
cool.
learning, learning.
Yeah.
Still trying today.
Yeah. And any other things that you might want to mention from the back in the day?
You're writing.
Oh, sure. I think I call myself today, Mark, as an inside out guy. The true me is on the inside. I try to exemplify it on the outside, of course. And I consider also that I'm kind of deep in my thought process. And through all this, I started writing. And the experiences from the doo-wop era and how I felt as a kid, what the songs were saying is embedded in me. And now my dream is to recreate that with a different sound, but that same mental expression.
Hmm.
Create love again, show the truth in love and friendship and all this. That's what I do. And I got, I'd say, thousands of songs that I'm doing now.
Well, so you still got a little bit of that hippie inside you too.
Yes, sir. Still got it.
So do I, man. You know?
I can tell. Jerry sent me you, right? He says, you got to hear this guy. And that, yep,
Pardon me?
that little Ray Jimenez,
Yeah.
that's when I saw.
Did you have you heard him perform back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
He was
And they had
pretty
the
awesome, huh?
Buccaneers. I loved them. Cannibal and Headhunters. And I was so impressed. Of course, to see Latino groups doing music that I grew up with, oh,
Yeah.
man, it blew me away. Blew me away. And they were great. They dressed and looked good.
Yeah,
Yep.
and some guys like Little Ray, he is an R&B singer, period.
I can
He's
do
an
it.
R&B singer. He's an authentic, real deal. Could have been with Motown.
Sure. I've called him a couple of times, but I haven't heard from him since. But
Yeah, well, he's running a studio now. He's got Sanctuary
thank
Studios,
you, brother.
LA
I
Sanctuary.
went by there. Trust me.
Oh, you did? LA
Yes.
Sanctuary Studios.
Yep. He's right there on Beverly and Atlantic.
Right.
Yep.
You're there.
Yep. You sing and perform, and I'm sure you're right. And
Hmm.
once you get on that trail, it's hard to turn back.
Oh yeah.
You know, music comes to you in all aspects.
And it's worth doing whether it's for commercial purposes or not, just to do it. It's part of who we are.
Sure. I could have probably written for Hallmark, but I just never pursued it. Because I'm still stuck with this. I love you, baby. I love you. And that's what I want to promote.
Hmm.
But I'll do it.
So overall, your whole experience performing in East Los Angeles and knowing all the groups, you look back on it with a lot of fondness now.
Yes, I always did. I always will. And something should have been done as far as I'm concerned about the sound from East L.A. It should have been really established because once you leave, I guess, the western part of the country, it disappears.
Yeah.
It's so funny. On my side of the world, guys don't know any 50 singers. They don't even know too many 70s groups, back there. They're like, gee whiz, you guys are missing it.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's it.
And the East LA musicians, virtually all of them embraced soul music and R&B
Sure.
and doo-wop. It was part of what we did.
Yes.
Then
Inside.
we added
Yes.
our Latino vibe and our own sensibilities to it. But it's part of what we all did.
And I loved it. Yep. I truly loved it. I auditioned, I can't even think of his name now, down in, I think on a street called Cincinnati in Boyle Heights there.
Hmm.
He was the best thing I had ever heard, black or brown. And I wanted him so bad, I want to give him a ring, but
Did he ever get known around East LA or did he kind of stay obscure?
I don't know. He was with Joey Rangel at the time, and I'm not sure because I can't remember his name right now. But I
Yeah.
know they were rehearsing, and I heard him.
But that's the whole thing, it's true that I mean there were so many great artists and are so many great artists out of East LA that didn't get the national or international recognition their talent deserved. But it's again because we don't quite fit in. It's
Well, yeah, and that dictatorship comes from a side that we both know, and it's still there today.
Of course.
I hear music, and I know you do too. They go, how did they record this or get it on the air? Come
Exactly.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You can
it's
walk into a nightclub in East LA tomorrow and there'll be a kick-ass band in there, you know.
yeah, it will be. You know, some of the guys out there now, they're still promoting Ray Carrion and cats like
Yeah.
that.
Oh
I
yeah.
appreciate them very much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And there's so many bands in East LA right now, guys in their 60s and 70s that are
Yes.
kicking ass. Great,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
you can hear them down at the Steven Steakhouse and various Quiet Cannon.
Yes.
Great groups, Chico and the Blue Satins and
Yes.
you know,
Yes. Yes.
um, you know, there's just a ton of them.
Yeah.
But
I guess, we find our spirit later on, I guess. But that's probably would have been our worst, not a mistake because we were not qualified to make mistakes or decisions that were proper. We didn't have the leadership probably that we should have. Connections.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. And that
and
really
knowing the
hurt.
business when you're a kid, you're happy
Yeah.
to record.
Right. Yeah.
So many of us
It's like,
didn't even sign a contract. We're going to record. Okay, yay.
yeah, that was it. Yeah. And my first statement with the group was we were going to be 1950s groups. And we're not going to jump on anything that comes to you. I can't sign a contract with no number on it. And that kind of happened. So
Without a lawyer.
there you go again. And now if you get one, you're not going to gain anything. The courts are going to get all that.
And then you don't know
And
if you can trust them too, on top of that.
yeah, how about that? Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Music now has changed so bad. I guess we got to do our own thing.
Yeah. And now, as everybody says, there is no music business in the sense that it's hard to make money on recordings anymore, because of
Yep,
digital technology and file sharing. And, now it's just all mostly in live performance.
yep, yep. And that's where my forte was back in the day, live music.
Yeah.
You know, then quite naturally the boom boxes replaced all that stuff in the nightclubs
Yeah.
and put the bands on the shelf for a while.
Yeah.
You
Another
know,
place where there's still money is if you can get your songs into a movie or a
yeah,
TV show or commercial, that kind of thing
sure,
exists.
sure. And that my writings, I'm sure I got 8 or 9 for sure. They could be a movie score.
Yeah.
Because my music is the truth. I don't read fiction books, and I don't write fiction lyrics. So there we have it. Everything from the heart.
There you go, man. So is there anything else you'd like to say before we check out?
I'm trying to come back
Oh.
because the music I have, it needs to be shared.
Hmm.
I'm not looking for a monetary gain. Just want to create, and that's it.
Well, one of the good things about today is if you can get online, social media, Facebook,
Sure.
YouTube, you can get out there quite a bit, a
Yeah,
website, Instagram. So that's available
yeah,
to you to get
yeah.
going.
And I know 1 million people. And if you multiply that times one, you're a millionaire. So
Yeah.
that's my aspect. But I love to connect. I love to collaborate because sharing is part of my me, and I love it. And then it's like baking a cake. You put the right ingredients in there and slide that icing on it. Then you taste it,
That's
boy.
it, baby. And the world tastes it. Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I like your spirit, man.
Thank you.
So, should we go ahead and say goodbye now, or do you have something else you'd like to say?
Um, I'd like to say hello to all the friends that haven't seen me for a lot of years. A lot of friends of my sons who definitely going to watch this, and I'm sure your ratings are going to go up after the day.
Well, I'm
Hopefully.
sure a lot of my East LA musicians, the people that you knew, are going to watch this as well. Believe me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay,
I love
man.
them, and I make it a point to try to see them all when I get here.
Hmm.
And I've been coming back quite a bit for the last 10 years,
Okay.
driving, but it's catching up to me now.
Yeah, man. I know.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so thanks for doing the show, man, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon.
Yes, you will. We got to meet to face and share more of this.
Okay.
I love it,
Let's do
and
it.
I got a lot of love for you, Mark.
Thank you,
So,
man. So,
yes,
okay,
sir.
man. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.